let's talk about one of the most consequential figures in all of human history. His story, though, is probably not what you'd expect. Today, we're diving into the incredible story of St. Paul, the man who really was the architect of a global faith.
You know, it's a huge question. How does a small, little-known religious group in a corner of the Roman Empire go global? I mean, think about it. In the decades after Jesus' death, his followers were a tiny, localized movement. So how on earth did that explode into a world religion that would go on to shape empires for 2,000 years?
Well, the answer really comes down to one person, a single, brilliant, and absolutely relentless architect. And here's the real twist in the story. This architect didn't start out as a friend of the movement. Nope, he started as its most ferocious opponent.
All right, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll meet this unlikely architect. Then, we'll get into his unbelievable transformation from persecutor to believer. After that, we'll follow his mission to take this faith to the entire world, dive into the writings that basically built the whole thing, and finally, really get a sense of his lasting legacy.
Okay, so before we really get into the man himself, let's just set the stage. What did the world look like right before he was about to change it forever?
So picture this. In the very beginning, the followers of Jesus were basically a small sect within Judaism. I mean, they were small, they kept to themselves, and their future was, well, let's just say it was anything but certain. They were kind of this fringe group in a faraway corner of the Roman Empire.
And this fragile new movement had a big problem. A very powerful enemy, a Roman citizen and a devout Pharisee by the name of Saul of Tarsus. He saw these early Christians as dangerous heretics, and he literally made it his personal mission to stamp them out.
And this is where the story just completely flips on its head. This is the moment the faith's greatest enemy becomes its greatest champion.
It's incredible when you see it laid out like this. On one side you have Saul, the hunter, the persecutor, and on the other, Paul, the builder, the apostle. I mean, the change from one to the other is arguably one of the most important events in Western history. So, what happened?
So the story goes that Saul was on the road to Damascus, actually on his way to arrest more Christians, when he has this blinding vision. A light from heaven, the voice of the resurrected Jesus. It was a shocking, life-altering moment that just turned his entire world upside down.
And just like that, the persecutor was gone. Saul became Paul. And he took all of that incredible intelligence, that passion, that absolute zeal, and he redirected it from destroying the Christian movement to building it.
So he has this incredible conversion. Now what? Well, Paul didn't just become a quiet believer, no way. He became a missionary on a scale that nobody had ever seen before.
Okay, to really get what Paul did next, we have to know this one word, Gentile. All it means in this context is anyone who isn't Jewish. And trust me, this simple distinction is the key to everything that follows. See, before Paul came along, the message of Jesus was mostly shared within Jewish communities. But Paul had this absolutely revolutionary idea that this message wasn't limited by who you were or where you were from. It was universal. It was for the Gentiles too. And that idea was the key that unlocked global expansion.
And his strategy was so methodical, so ambitious. He went on these grueling missionary journeys, planting new Christian communities everywhere he went. He started in what's now modern-day Turkey, then pushed into the intellectual center of the world, Greece. And all along he was aiming for the ultimate prize, Rome, the very heart of the empire.
But here's the thing. Paul wasn't just a traveler and a brilliant organizer. He was a writer. And his writings, they would become the very foundation of this new global faith.
Just let that number sink in for a second. 13. Of the 27 books in the Christian New Testament, nearly half of them are letters written by Paul. His influence on the core scripture of Christianity is it's immense. You can't overstate it. And these weren't just, hey, how's it going kind of letters. Paul's letters, which we call epistles, were written to guide and correct and encourage all those new churches he had started. And in doing that, he was basically laying down the entire intellectual and theological blueprint for what it meant to be a Christian.
And it was in these letters that he really hammered home some of the faith's biggest, most foundational ideas. He argued that salvation comes through faith, not just by following religious laws. He described the entire global church as one single unified body. And he famously declared that in this new faith, things like ethnicity and social status just didn't matter anymore.
Okay, so all of this brings us to our final stop. Let's pull it all together and really understand the massive, lasting impact that Paul had on the world.
I mean, when you step back and look at the scorecard, it's just staggering. He's the one who took a small, inward-looking sect and gave it the vision to become a global religion. His writing makes up almost half of its most sacred text, and his ideas have defined the core beliefs for billions of people for centuries.
So, in the end, the story comes right back around, doesn't it? The man who set out to destroy Christianity ended up being the very architect who built it. More than any other single person, Paul is the reason for the incredible growth and spread of the Christian faith after Jesus.
And that leaves us with one heck of a question to think about. Without Paul's radical vision, without his relentless drive, and without his foundational writings, would the Jesus movement have just fizzled out and become another footnote in history? It's something to think about. Thanks so much for joining us.